and then we shall get ready. Excellent. So we are going to start seated. So if you want to come onto your mat, if you've got a block or anything like that, you're welcome to sit on top of the block. Otherwise, just sitting up nice and tall, trying to sit up and out of the pelvis if you can. Well done. And just letting the shoulders relax down the back as well. So we try to sit cross-legged. It just helps with the hips, but if you prefer to sit kneeling, that's absolutely fine. And then we're just going to try to get into that breath. So ideally breathing in and out through the nose. And we just want to try and get the breath a little deeper, a little stronger. So ideally feeling the chest rise and fall. You can always close the eyes just to help focusing on the breath as well. Now just try and get a couple of nice deep breaths. Just try to slow that exhale down if you can. So try to control the exhale, just letting it be a little longer, a little slower. And that'll just allow us to take an even bigger breath in for our inhale. You might feel the shoulders just relaxing down every exhale. Feeling the body sinking down a little as well. Maybe feeling the mind clearing. And just feeling a general sense of calm throughout. All right, we're going to try a little breathing exercise here. So we're going to try to, you can keep the eyes closed for this, but you are going to try to inhale for 3 breaths. I'm going to exhale for 6. So I'm going to exhale for twice the amount. So when you're ready, nice big inhale for 1, 2, 3, hold it at the top, and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Just trying to keep a steady breath from here. It is a good exercise. You can get used to that, and you can do a number of counts for that as well. Will help you to de-stress. Just get into that breath, clear the mind a little. But hopefully feeling the breaths are a little deeper, a little stronger, a little longer. So when you're ready, we're just going to open the eyes. We're going to start to get moving a little. So taking the hands out to the side if you can, just having the shoulders relax down the back, lift the chest a little, and then just have the palms turn up as well. Take a nice big inhale. We're going to stretch those hands all the way up towards the ceiling. Taking the gaze up as well, shoulders down. Nice big exhale, just stretching all the way back out. Lovely, well done. Taking the left hand down, I'm going to take the right palm up and over and just get a nice side stretch all the way down to the side of the hip, to that right hip. Just working, maybe opening across the chest, so you can pull that top shoulder down. Maybe take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Lovely, nice big inhale. And exhale, coming all the way back to center. Lovely, switching over to do the other side. So nice big inhale again, reaching all the way up. Again, just trying to work the top shoulder down the back. Take the gaze up as well. Nice big inhale. And exhale, coming all the way back to center. Lovely. Just taking the hands out in front, we're coming into a nice forward fold. So work the hands out as far as you can. Drop the head down as well. And then just feel a sinking feeling into the hips. If you can, you're going to try to tuck under with the tailbone. Drop the head. Take a nice big inhale here. And exhale, see if you can sink down a little bit lower. Lovely, nice big inhale, lift the head, and exhale, walking those hands all the way back in. Well done. We're coming into a nice gentle back bend now, so clasp the fingers behind you. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then work the shoulders down the back as well. Lift the chest, nice big inhale here. And exhale, work the shoulders down the back. Lovely, nice little back bend there. Well done. Release the hands. Good. We're coming into a twist and then we'll get onto our hands and knees. So take the right hand behind you. Left hand's going to come onto your right knee. We're going to take a nice big inhale, really lengthen up through the crown of the head, getting a little taller, and exhale, twisting towards the back. So just getting a little spinal twist to get us started. Really good for our internal organs as well. Get the digestive system moving as well. Good. Nice big inhale again. And exhale, twisting into it. Lovely, looking forwards. Exhale, back to center. And we're switching over to do the other side. So right hand's coming onto that left knee, left hand behind. Nice big inhale, getting a little taller. And exhale, twisting and pulling that left shoulder back. Take the gaze with you as well. Good, one more, nice big inhale. And exhale. Lovely, looking forwards, exhale, release. Lovely, coming up onto the hands and knees when you're ready, we're going to start to work into those legs a little bit here and into the core. So if you can, we're coming into a tabletop position, so hands and knees. If you've got any issues with the wrist, you can always drop down onto the elbows just to give the wrists a bit of a break. Otherwise, spread the fingers nice and wide, index fingers parallel with the edge of the mat. And we're going to push it in nice and strong into those shoulders. So almost feel like you're rounding your upper back. Pull the belly in as well and pull the front ribs in. Good. From here, tucking the toes, we're going to do a little core exercise. So tuck the toes under, lift the knees just a couple of inches off the mat. We're going to try and hold it here. So core exercise, just testing our strength. If you want to go a little further, you're going to try to lean forwards. Just watch out with the wrists. So nice deep breaths. Good. 1. Going to try for 5, 2. Pull the belly in. 3. Pushing into that upper back. 4. And 5. Lovely. Lower the knees down. From here, take the right leg out behind you. Going to push into that heel so you can tuck the toes under, keep the foot on the floor, and just starting to push into that leg. So we want to try to get that back leg nice and strong, nice and straight. See if you can engage the thigh, push into the heel, and still push into that upper back, so nice and strong. Just feeling that stretch into the right leg. Lovely, we'll switch over to do that left side now. So left foot's coming all the way out. Again, just pushing into the heel. Tucking the belly, tucking the tailbone under as well, just to help stretch out that lower back. Pull the belly in so we get the core working, the abs switched on. Excellent, well done. Coming back to center. From here, we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So keep the hands nice and strong, spreading the fingers still. And then tuck your toes under, lift the hips up nice and high. Keep the knees bent for the first one and then really push those hips up and back. So we're really straightening out the spine, really lengthening through the spine. And then you can start to straighten the legs a little. But you might feel it is Sunday morning after all, so if you want to just pedal out the legs a little, just to really stretch them out. Keep working into the spine, strong straight arms if you can. Just feeling a little movement in our first down dog. So just bending the knees one at a time. Lovely. And from here, just looking forwards, I'm going to start to walk the feet in nice and slowly towards the hands. And then once your feet are nice and flat and balanced, just taking the hands up. You can either grab hold of either elbow or keep the fingers on the floor, or just taking the hands onto the waist. I'm just going to try to get a nice fold here. If you can, I'm going to try and get these legs nice and straight. So try to pull up through the kneecaps so you get the thighs switched on nice and strong. Just dropping the head down a little as well. And then relaxing these shoulders. And then if you want to feel it a little bit more still, just try and spread your feet apart. So without even moving the mat, just feel like you're trying to pull the mat apart with your feet. You should feel even more engagement all the way up the back of the legs. Just hold in there if you can. Keep that engagement. Nice big inhale. And exhale, folding down. Lovely. Taking the hands onto the hips. We're going to start to round the back and roll up nice and slowly all the way up to standing. Lovely. Good work. Okay, we're coming to the front of the mat. We're going to try and warm up a little bit more with some sun salutations. I'm going to do the first one nice and slowly, and then we're going to try and do 2 more. This is probably the hardest bit, so bear with us if you're not used to doing these. So feet at the front of the mat when you're ready, at the top of your mat, and just standing nice and tall, shoulders drawing down the back. We'll take an inhale and take the hands all the way up towards the ceiling, taking the gaze up as well. And exhale, we're going to start to fold down towards the floor, maybe stretching into it, and then just bending the knees a little as well, maybe. Good. Inhale, we're going to come up halfway, so you can take the hands onto the thighs, look forwards. And exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step your feet all the way back to a plank position. So we've got a nice strong plank here. We're going to drop the knees and then lower down towards the floor. Inhale, take the feet a little wider, and then roll the shoulders down the back, lift the chest. This is our half up dog. And then from here, coming back onto the knees, into a tabletop, tuck your toes, and coming into a downward facing dog. We'll try to do 5 breaths here. If the down dog's a bit much, you can always just drop onto the knees, really work and push into the upper back, into the shoulders, or you can sink down into a child's pose. So entirely up to you. Good, 4 more breaths. 2, think about straight, strong arms if you can. 3, think about lifting those hips up and back, so we've got lots of length into the spine. We want to really lengthen through that spine. 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. Looking forward, step the feet all the way towards the front and coming into a nice flat back at the front, looking forwards. Exhale, fold down, drop the head. And inhale, coming all the way back up. I'm going to sweep those hands all the way back up towards the ceiling and all the way back to standing. So that was our first sun salutation. We're going to try and do 2 more. It's going to get that heat building, going to get a little bit of a sweat on as well, maybe. When you're ready, nice big inhale, stretching all the way up. Exhale, reach and fold forwards as you stretch down towards the floor. Drop the head. Inhale, coming up halfway, so you can work towards the thighs or the shins or the floor. And exhale, plant the hands, feet back to plank. Good, half press ups. You can drop the knees or keep the knees lifted for more of a challenge, lowering down. Inhale for your half up dog or your full up dog. Lift the chest and draw the shoulders down. Good, coming back onto the knees, tuck the toes, and downward facing dog again. Remember, you can always drop down onto the knees, just work into the shoulders instead, or you can work into a child's pose where we drop the knees completely to the floor. 5 breaths here. Maybe starting to straighten the legs a little, especially if you're starting to feel like you're warming up a little more now. Good, 2, 3. Think about working the shoulders away from the ears. 4, and 5. Lovely. Look forward, step the feet all the way back in, nice and slowly towards the front, feet together. Nice flat back at the top. And exhale, folding down, drop the head. Inhale, coming all the way back up again. Squeeze the palms at the top and all the way back to standing. Lovely. 1 more to go, almost there. Nice big inhale. Reaching up, we're getting that nice flow going. Exhale, folding down, drop the head. Inhale, flat back, coming up a little higher maybe. And exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, feet back to plank. Good, coming down to that half press up again. You can always lower the knees down first. Use the shoulders to help you come down nice and slowly. Inhale, shoulders down the back, lift the chest. And exhale, back onto the knees, tuck the toes, And come into your downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Think about those hips coming up nice and high. Good. 2. Strong straight arms if you can. 3. Work the shoulders away from the ears. 4. Maybe starting to straighten the legs as well. Strong thighs. And 5. Lovely. Look forward. Step or jump the feet. And coming into that nice flat back at the front. Exhale, folding down, drop the head. And inhale, sweeping those hands all the way back up. And all the way back to standing. Good work, lovely, well done. Good work if you're still with me. It normally kills people off that one. All right, we're going to take a nice big step all the way out. Everything after here is going to be 5 breaths. So we get into the posture a little bit more. So nice big step all the way out to the right, right foot towards the back of the mat. And we've got our heels on this imaginary straight line. We're going to try and keep both legs nice and straight, nice and strong for this one. Arms out nice and wide when you're ready. Inhale at the top. And then exhale and come down towards the right shin, the ankle or the toe, but just work to where you can. The main thing is that we want to keep the shoulders stacked. So the lower you go, the more this top shoulder is going to pull forwards. So maybe going a little higher is going to help. Taking that top hand up towards the ceiling. Maybe take the gaze up as well. And again, try to think about those legs staying nice and strong. So really pull up through the kneecaps. Use those thighs. And then use the breath. So inhale, feel like you're really trying to lengthen through the crown of the head, through that top hand, and then exhale, maybe going a little lower. Good. 2, maybe tucking under with the tailbone. 3, think about pulling the belly in as well, get the abs switched on. 4, just working that top shoulder back. And 5, lovely, well done. We're going to push it into that front knee to release and come all the way back up. Lovely, try to keep the hands out if you can. We're going to pivot over to do that left side. So left foot forwards when you're ready. Again, nice big inhale at the top and then exhale, coming down towards that left side. So towards the left shin, maybe a little lower, just wherever you're at today. Working that top shoulder back, gazing up towards the top thumb. Nice deep breaths, nice and strong into the back leg as well, so really push into that outside back foot. Good. 1, shoulders are stacked over one another. 2, gazing up at the top thumb. 3, maybe think about pulling the belly in as well. 4, and 5. Well done. Pushing into the front knee, coming all the way back up. Nice big wide stance. And we're taking a nice big step all the way back to the front. Just shake it out through those legs. Lovely. From here, we're going to take a nice big step all the way out to the right. Again, but maybe go a little bit wider this time. We're going to try and get into those hips now. So right foot towards the back of the mat. And this time we're going to sink into, so we're going to lunge into this right knee. Heels are on that imaginary straight line. And our hips are out to the side as well. So sinking down into that right leg. You can drop your hand down, your elbow down. You can go for a bind. You can take the hand to the outside of the foot to go further. And then we want to try and keep this back leg nice and straight, nice and strong. If you want to go further, you can take your top hand up and over. Or you might want to get a little bit more of a stretch into the chest. So maybe take the hand to the lower back and really pull that top shoulder back. Nice deep breaths. We're going for 5 again. So sinking down a little lower on that exhale. Good. 1, back leg's nice and strong, nice and straight. 2, you can always take the gaze up towards the ceiling or towards the top hand if the hand is up. 3, you can maybe feel that right knee's pulling in towards the center, so keep pushing it out to the right if you can. Good. 4, looking good everyone. And 5, well done. I'm going to push into that front knee, coming all the way back up. I'm going to pivot over to do the other side. So bring that back foot in nice and parallel. And then turning your left foot towards the front, lunging into it nice and low. Again, drop the hand down or the elbow, or you can go further, take the hand to the outside of the foot or go for a bind. Sinking down nice and low. Back leg's nice and straight, nice and strong. Hands coming up and over, or you can work it around towards the lower back and open across the chest. Nice deep breaths. Lovely. Sinking down a little lower on that exhale. Back leg straight and strong. We're really pushing into the outside of that back foot. Good. Think about working that left knee out a little as well. Feel that into the hips. Good. 2. Think about pulling the belly in as well. 3. Maybe tucking it under with that tailbone. 4. One more breath. Let's see if we can go a little lower. And 5, well done, release, push into the knee, coming all the way back up, nice big wide stance, and nice big step all the way back, shake it out. Lovely. Okay, we're going to try to come into a forward fold, so another nice big step all the way out to the right again. Nice big wide stance, and then we want to try and keep your feet nice and parallel here if you can. Good, legs nice and strong, so think about getting those thighs switched on, hands coming onto the waist. Nice big inhale, lift up here. And exhale, I'm going to start to fold forwards. So you can either stay here, work with a nice flat back, pull the belly in, get the core working. If you want to go a little further, you can take the fingertips towards the floor or even the hands. So just working to wherever you're at. If you've got a block, you could always put the hands on a block as well. And then get those legs nice and straight, nice and strong. Good, pushing into the outside of the feet. And then if you want to go further and you're trying to fold, you can try and shift the weight ever so slightly forwards, more into the front of the feet. This is just going to help your pelvis to tilt further forwards, help you to go down a little lower. Good, nice deep breaths here. 2, using that exhale to help us go a little further. 3, you might even feel the sit bones trying to spread at the back. 4, and 5, lovely. Nice big inhale, look forwards. Exhale, hands to the waist. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Lovely, well done. Taking a nice big step all the way back to the front and just shake it out. Although we're going to try and get a balance in today. So the first balance we're going to try is our tree pose. So feet together. If you want to do half bound lotus instead, you're more than welcome to. So shift the weight into the left foot. I'm going to take the right foot either to the side of the calf, so it's coming below the knee, or you can go above the knee and go into the side of the thigh. But we want to be pushing this right foot in towards the side of that left leg. So try to hold wherever you can. If balance is a little off, it's a good one to start with. So keep it nice and low towards the ankle. And then if you feel a bit wobbly, just tap it down and bring it back into place. It's a really good one to practice. Taking the hands to heart center to go further, or you can always grab hold of something and then standing nice and tall. Shoulders drawing down the back, nice and relaxed in the shoulders. And then maybe feeling those standing legs nice and strong, nice and straight. So feel this thigh engage. If you can tuck under with the tailbone, that will help. And then don't forget to push that right foot into the side of the leg a little. So you want to feel a little engagement there. Good, maybe get the abs switched on as well. Pull the belly in, front ribs down. Lovely, let's do 3 more. 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Release the hands, release the knee, and coming back. Shake it out if you need to. And we'll switch over to do the other side. So shift the weight into the right leg. Again, take the left foot to the side of the calf or go above the knee and go into the side of the thigh. Just make sure you're not on the knee. Again, if balance is not the strong point, then just take it nice and low. Practice by keeping it low and then just touch down when you need to. Hands to heart center. Lovely. Maybe tucking under with that tailbone. Feel that right at the top of the hip flexor. Good. Shoulders relaxed. Little pressure with that left foot pushing into the side of the right leg. Maybe feeling the abs switch on as well. And maybe feeling those front ribs pulling down towards the hips. Get the core switched on as well. Lovely. Should help you to feel a little taller, a little stronger, a little more balanced. Good. 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Release the hands, release the knee, and shake it out. Okay, we're going to try and squeeze one more pose in before we come down towards the floor. So this one's really good for getting these hip flexors working. So we want to just try to take the foot up a little higher. So a couple of options. If you want to go higher, pull the knee up and then take the leg out nice and high, or just lift it up as high as you can. So we're going to try to avoid leaning backwards here. So if you feel like you're leaning backwards, try to pull your chest forwards and pull your thigh back. So pull your leg back into the hip socket. You're really going to feel this. Keep this leg nice and straight, nice and strong. We'll do 5 breaths. Good. 1, feel that core switch on. 2, shoulders relax. 3, should be feeling the burn. 4, you can always go higher. And 5, well done, shake it out. Woo. All right, let's switch over to the other side. So shift the weight into the right leg, left leg coming up again. Bend the knee, take it up nice and high if you want to go higher. Otherwise, just take it up from the floor. Remember, pull that thigh back. Holding nice and strong. Try not to lean back, so keep the chest pulling forward slightly. Shoulders relax down the back. Good. 1, nice straight strong leg. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good work. Shake out. Well done, everyone. All right, I'm just going to scrub my mat up. It's slipping and sliding. Okay, we're going to come down towards the floor now. So if you come to the front of the mat, we're going to do what we call a vinyasa. Essentially, it's a way to sit down, but a very long-winded way of sitting down. A nice flow. Take the hands all the way up when you're ready. And exhale, reach and fold forward, stretching into it as you fold towards the floor. Drop the head, strong legs maybe. Inhale, nice flat back, looking forwards. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump the feet back to plank. And coming down to that half press up. Remember, you can always bend the knees, drop the knees to the floor. Inhale, roll the shoulders down the back for your half up dog or your full up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Getting that good stretch out through the spine and then coming through to seated when you're ready. So always the tricky bit, and take one foot forward, the other behind, and then try to come through to seated. Otherwise, just dropping down onto your knees and coming through to seated when you're ready. Lovely. We're going to try and do a forward fold here. I'll just let you adjust the cameras. We're going to be a lot lower down now. So no more standing, all sort of lower down towards the floor. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, we want to try and keep the legs nice and straight, nice and strong. Main thing is that you keep your heels on the floor just to avoid any hyperextending in the knees. To keep the thighs switched on as well, just going to help to properly stretch out the hamstrings. When you're ready, sitting up nice and tall, and then exhale, folding forwards. Taking the hands towards the feet, the ankles, the shins, wherever you can grab hold. You might be able to grab the tops of the feet or the toes, the outside of the feet, or grabbing hold of the top of the legs. Take a nice big inhale, lift up, so try to get taller through the crown of the head, and then exhale, pull the chest forwards. Trying to come into that forward fold. So this is really good for stretching our lower back out. Also really good for stretching those hamstrings, the back of the legs. Good. 2, keep working with that breath if you can. 3, that exhale should allow you to go a little further. 4, still feeling those thighs working strong. And 5, lovely. Nice big inhale, lift up. And exhale, release. We're going to squeeze one more posture in here. So if you take the hands back behind you, fingertips facing forwards. Again, if you're looking after your wrists, then just drop down onto your elbows instead. You either want your elbows under the shoulders or you want your wrists under the shoulders. We're going to lean back a little first and then try to lift the chest. So just doing a little bit of prep work. So first option, you're going to bend your knees and lift the hips up. So we come into a reverse tabletop. Or if you want to make it a little more challenging today, we're going to keep the legs nice and straight and nice and strong. When you're ready, we're going to try and lift up for 5. So pushing down into those hands, straight, strong arms, lift the chest as much as you can. Maybe drop the head back. Working there nice and strong, squeeze the buttocks. 1, keep it up. 2, 3, nice strong chest, really lift up. 4, almost there. And 5, well done, lowering all the way back down. Good work, well done. So we've got a vinyasa option here, otherwise just have a little breather. So you can cross the feet, take the hands forward, and then step or jump your feet back to your plank. Coming down to your half press up. So again, you can always drop the knees, lowering down. Inhale for your half up dog or your full up dog. The half up dogs are really good because they just help you to look after your lower back. So if you do have lower back issues, that half up dog will just take that away. And then again, just coming back through to seated when you're ready. Lovely. So we do those little flows in the middle, they're called vinyasas. It's from Ashtanga, which is a style of yoga, but it just keeps the heat going and keeps the breath going as well. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to pull our knees in. I'm going to drop the knees out to the side. We're going to get into a hip opener here. So we want to try and get the feet together here if you can. And then also just watch out in the back. So the closer you can draw the heels in, the more you're going to start to get into those hips. But also just check in that you're not really rounded in the lower back. So when you draw the heels in, just check that you're not so rounded. If you are, just bring the feet a little further forwards and then sit up a little taller. When you're ready, nice big inhale, lift up. Again, getting a little taller, and exhale, folding forwards. So just going as far forwards as you can. Sitting up nice and tall might be enough for you, might be quite tight in the hips, so just get used to trying to open out across those hips. Using that strong breath again, so the exhale is going to help us to sink into it a little more. Getting a little taller on that inhale. And the stronger and more powerful that breath, the more movement you're going to feel in each posture. Good, let's try and do 3 more breaths. 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Nice big inhale, just coming up nice and slowly. Lovely. Taking hold of the knees and then pull them back together. We're going to go back into another hip opener here. So take your feet all the way out in front and then take them a little bit wider. Might have to shuffle around just to make sure you've got enough room. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, we don't really need to go too wide, just sort of a 90-degree angle. And then again, we're going to try to come forwards here. So if you feel like you're really slouching in the back, in the lower back in particular, just means your pelvis tilts a different way. So it's going to be much more difficult for you to reach towards your toes. It's not necessarily to do with flexibility, but more because of the way the pelvis tilts. So for you, you're going to sit up nice and tall, lift up through the chest, and just try and sit up as straight as you can. If you feel like you can fold forwards, either take the hands forwards towards the front or take hold of the top of the legs or even the outside of the feet. Again, I'm going to use that breath. So nice big inhale, lifting up, and exhale, folding forwards. Good, nice big inhale. And exhale. Well done, 3 more. Keep those legs nice and straight, nice and strong. So feel those thighs working, pulling up through the kneecaps. Looking good, everyone. Good, 2 more. 1 more. Let's see if we can go a little further than we did on the first one. Excellent, well done. Nice big inhale, lift up, and exhale, release. Well done. Just taking hold of the back of the thighs, pull the feet in towards you, cross the feet, and we'll do another vinyasa. Feel free to just have a breather if you prefer. You don't have to do the vinyasas. So taking the hands forward if you are, step your feet back to plank, and coming down to that half press up. Remember, you can always drop the knees. Inhale for your half up dog or your full up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Get a good stretch out in your down dog. Lovely. And then coming through to seated again, or dropping onto your knees, whatever's easier. And then taking your feet out in front. Well done. Okay, we're going to try to get a little bit of a twist going on here. So with your feet, just bring your knees up towards you. So you're either going to keep your left leg out nice and straight, or if you can, you're going to tuck your left foot underneath so it's coming towards your right buttock. Okay, and then pull your right foot in nice and close as well. And then start to take your right hand behind you. So we're going to try and get another twist here. Again, really good for the spine, keeping flexibility and mobility into the spine. And then with your left arm, just hug it around that right knee, or grab hold with the hand. And then we're going to try to pull the chest through here. So we're going to try and get a little bit more of a twist. You can keep the hand down or the fist down, and then start to twist towards the back. If you want to go further, you can always go for a bind. Otherwise, just working nice and strong here. You might even be able to get your hand underneath the leg if you want to go further still. But the main thing is that we're really trying to open across the chest, get that nice stretch. Feel that right shoulder pulling back. Again, use the breath. So inhale to get taller. And exhale, twisting towards the right. Take the gaze round as well. That will just help to pull the shoulder back. Good. 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Looking forwards. Exhale, release. Lovely. And we'll switch over to do the other side. So you can just release your feet back so they're a little bit wider. And this time we're going to tuck that right foot underneath. So coming close towards the left buttock. I'll spin around so you can see. And then your left foot is going to pull it in nice and close towards you. Again, take your left hand around and then really pull the chest through here. So you get a little bit more leverage first. Then hugging in that right elbow or the right hand, or maybe going for a bind, and then twisting towards the back. Nice big inhale. And exhale. Good, nice big inhale. And exhale, working that left shoulder back. Take the gaze round as well. Good, 3 more. 3, 4, and 5. Well done, look forwards. Exhale, release. Lovely. You can do another vinyasa here. Otherwise, just use it for a bit of a breather, or you can just do a down dog. Sometimes just the down dog gives us a nice stretch out. So coming towards the floor. And then inhale, lifting up for your up dog or your half up dog, whichever one you're working with. And exhale into your downward facing dog. Getting that nice stretch out through the spine. Maybe straight legs as well. And then again, coming all the way through to seated. And just taking those feet back out. Well done. Okay, we're going to have a go at doing boat pose today. So boat pose is really good for getting your hip flexors working mainly, but we can also get the core involved as well. So really important to have a strong core because it will look after your lower back. If you get any lower back issues, it means that you're likely need to strengthen the core. So we're going to have a little go here. So have your feet out in front, knees bent, and then you're going to take hold of the back of the thighs. We're going to lean back slightly, and we're going to try and balance on the sit bones here. So the main thing to keep your balance is to lift the chest and pull the shoulders down the back. So lean back, lift the feet up a little, keep them out or keep them up as high as you can. You can even go for straight legs if you want to. And then maybe taking the hands out to the side as well. If not, just keep hold of the back of the thighs, and that will help you to really pull the chest up and keep that balance. Well done. Do 5 from here. 1, so this is the modified version. 2, 3, shoulders down. Good. 4, and 5. Well done. Release. Have a little breather. Well done. I'm going to try and do that 2 more times. So we'll go up again. We might go a little bit more difficult this time. So again, just grabbing hold of the thighs, lift the chest, pull the shoulders down. If you're not feeling it in the core, just round your back slightly, and that should get your core to switch on. So it's like you're trying to tuck under with your tailbone. Maybe take the hands out for this second one. Good, 1, squeeze the knees, squeeze the feet, 2, 3, you can always have the hands there if you need to, 4, last one, and 5. Well done, release, have a breather. We're gonna go one more step. All right, leaning back, balancing on those sit bones, lift the chest, shoulders down, maybe go a little bit further. You might be able to do straight legs with the hands behind on the back of the thighs, or you might be able to take the hands up to the side. Strong core. 1, nice deep breaths. 2, get those hip flexors working. 3, gaze at the toes. 4, feel that shake. And 5, well done, good work. Well done, cross the feet, we'll do another vinyasa, and then we're gonna come into our closing sequence, so try to wind down a little here. So feet back to plank, half press up. Again, remember you can always drop the knees down, nice and slowly with the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing dog or half up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, coming through to seated. And then we're gonna come onto our back. Well done. We're gonna come onto our back for a bridge pose. So bridge pose is classed as a back bend. But if you don't want to feel it in your lower back, I'm going to give you a modification for it. But a bridge pose is really good for helping with a lot. It's an inversion as well, so it's good for de-stressing, good for helping with fatigue, anything like that. Also really good for your heart and your lungs. So if you lie flat on your back and have your knees bent with your feet flat on the floor, have your feet so they are hip width apart or even a little wider, and just have the toes turned out slightly. Now tuck the tailbone and start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So you're pushing down into the shoulders, you can even push into the elbows as well. And then if you want to look after your lower back and you want to build your core strength, just drop your chest slightly and really feel like you're trying to pull your front ribs towards your hips. And that's going to get your core working as well as work those legs. If you want to go a little further, you're going to keep squeezing the buttocks. Push the hips up as high as you can, maybe lift the chest a little, and then maybe get onto those shoulders a little as well. You can always take the hands around the waist, push into the elbows to give you a little bit more support and help you to lift up higher. We'll do 5 breaths here, so whichever one you're working on. Try to push down into the feet as well, so you can fire up the legs. Maybe even squeeze those inner heels down so you get the inner thighs fired up as well. You should really feel that nice and strong. Good, just keep squeezing the inner heels down. 3 more. 3, keep squeezing the buttocks. 4. And 5, well done, lowering down nice and slowly. Just pushing down into the lower back, into the mat, pull the knees in and just have a little bit of a hug in. Well done. From here, if you can, we're going to try that one more time. So again, you can use that core one if you want to, otherwise maybe going a little higher into your back bend. You're also free to do wheel, obviously, if you want to take your hands by the shoulders and push up to wheel. If you're used to that, you can do. So when you're ready, pushing down into those feet, feet are hip width apart, toes turned out slightly to help with the hips, and then squeeze the buttocks, lift the hips up. Maybe take the hands around the waist, push down into the elbows, lift the chest a little more. Good, get those inner heels fired up. So really pushing down, fire up those inner thighs. Squeeze the buttocks, tuck the tailbone. Good, 2, nice strong breaths. 3, pushing down into the feet, maybe even pick up the toes, see how that feels. 3, 4, last one. And 5, lovely, well done. Lowering down onto the mat. Just giving those knees a hug in, you can keep them a little bit wider and just releasing the lower back. Well done. From here, if you can, just try and take a hold of your toes or your feet And then take the knees nice and wide. This one's called Happy Baby Pose. It's a really good one for getting into the hips. Good for helping you to work the feet behind the head if that's one of your challenges in second series. And just working. You might even feel like you're rocking on your lower back a little. It's absolutely natural to round the back as we get into these hip openers. So just working here. And if you want to feel a little engagement, just try to push your feet up towards the ceiling, but at the same time have your hands pulling your feet back down. And you should feel that engagement into the hips. You might even be able to push your knees out with your elbows a little as well, just to help open out a little more. Yeah, let's try and do 3 more breaths here. 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Releasing the knees, just bringing them back in. Lovely. From here, we're going to try to come into our feet up the wall. So taking the feet up towards the ceiling, you can have the knees bent a little. We're going to try and make this a little bit of a core exercise here. So we do this in class sometimes as an alternative inversion instead of doing headstand or shoulder stand. So still get all the same benefits. Take the feet up nice and high, knees bent slightly, and then you want to feel your lower back or your sacrum really pushing down into the mat. And now keep the hands on the waist or around the hips and just start to lower your feet further away from you. But keep the lower back pushing down. Tuck your tailbone if you need to. And I want you to stop at the point where you feel like the front is really having to work hard and your lower back is still touching the floor. So if you go too far and the lower back lifts, so if your lower back arches, you've gone a bit too far. So just draw those feet back in. I'm going to try and hold here for 5 breaths. Good. 1, don't worry if the shoulders are lifting. 2, 3, should feel that across the front, really good for building that core strength. 4, nice simple one to do, but very effective. And 5, well done. Pull the knees in, have a little hug in. Again, just release that lower back. Well done. We're going to rock up to seated and do a vinyasa. Or just have a breather. If you want to stay where you are, you're more than welcome to, if you're enjoying those deep breaths. So if you are doing a vinyasa, we're coming into a plank, half press up. Again, drop the knees if you need to. And inhale for your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. And then we're going to come into an inversion. So again, you can do that feet up the wall posture that we've just done. Try and do 5 breaths, or just completely relax and actually take your feet against the wall and just focus in on the breath. You can have a go at doing a headstand, shoulder stand, handstand, forearm pose, wherever you're at. I'm going to talk you through a couple of drills for headstand. We're not actually going to put our head on the floor, so you won't feel any pressure on the head or the neck, but it is really good for building that upper body strength. So if you want to do that with me, I'm going to talk you through that. If you want to do something completely different, then you're more than welcome to. And then we've got a little bit of time. We're going to twist out on our back at the end and then come into a nice relaxing Shavasana. Okay, so last tough bit before we do our relaxation. So if you take your hands forward, clasp the fingers. You want your elbows underneath the shoulders if you can. And then we're going to push into the upper back, so we're nice and strong. So this is really important for when we start to work towards headstand. Okay, so from here, either keep your knees down and just push into the upper back and look towards your knees. And you should feel your core switch on with that as well. If you want to go a little further, you want to tuck your toes under, lift your hips up as well, and then hold in here. We're going to try and hold for 5 breaths. If you want to make this more challenging, keep pushing into your shoulders, pushing into your elbows, and walk your feet in closer towards your elbows. Pull the belly in as well, look towards the feet. Yeah, let's do 5 here. 1, nice strong breaths. 2, really rounding that upper back. 3, pull the belly in, pull the front ribs in. 4, And 5. Well done. Lowering down onto the knees. Turn your toes over as well so your feet are flat on the floor. Sink the hips down onto the heels, and then just letting the head drop down or the elbows drop down. And we're coming into child's pose. So take a nice deep breath here. Big sigh out through the mouth. Good. Nice big inhale. And big exhale. Lovely, well done. Just have a couple more breaths there. If you're working on your headstand or shoulder stand, if you want to start to make your way down, just nice and slowly. Take the time, maybe go into your child's pose, maybe come onto your back. Well done. And then we're going to try one more vinyasa. Could be it will be the last one. We'll do one more vinyasa. And then we'll come into a couple of twists and go straight into Shavasana from our twist. So twist again into the spine, quite a nice one. And I'll show you a couple of options with it as well. So just taking the hands forward if you are doing a vinyasa. Feet back to plank, nice and strong. Again, push into the upper back, just like we did for our headstand practice. And again, coming down to your half press up. Drop the knees if you need to. Inhale, shoulders pulling down the back. Lift the chest. Exhale. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Lovely. And then coming onto or into seated and then onto your back when you're ready. Good work. Lots of vinyasa still going on. I haven't killed anybody off today. That's good. Well done. All right, so when you're ready, we're coming on to the back. You can always roll down if you want to. It's really good for helping you to tuck under with that tailbone. Helps to just release the pelvis a little easier as well and gets the core working. Okay, from here, you're going to take your arms out to the side. If you've not got the room, you're going to bend at your elbows. So your elbows are going to be in line with your shoulders. That's just going to help you to maximize this twist. So your hands are going to be up sort of near the head. So you want your arms at right angles. If you have got the room, then just go straight out with the arms so the arms are nice and parallel. And then we're going to take the knees, bend the knees and have the feet flat on the floor. And then we're going to start to slowly work the knees towards the right side. So towards the right side of the floor. They might lower down a little, they might lower down all the way to the floor, but you should feel that twist into sort of the middle of the back. If you want to go a little further with this, you're going to take your knees up nice and high, more towards your chest, so you feel more of a twist. If you want to feel less of a twist, then just take your feet further away from you. So less of a bend in the knees. And then try to lift the head and turn the head towards the left. And then depending where you are in your twist, you might feel the left shoulder wants to lift. And don't necessarily try to force it down, but just try to feel like with the exhale, you can just relax into that left shoulder a little easier. Really good for stretching out the chest, this one. Really good for helping with posture. And again, really good for helping with mobility and flexibility in the spine. So just maybe slowing the breath down here, just making the breaths a little bit longer. You can even exhale out through the mouth if that helps. So a nice big sigh out. And just notice how the body sinks down a little easier on those exhales. Even close the eyes if that helps as well. And then nice and slowly just turning or lifting the head back to center. And then slowly starting to work the knees back towards the ceiling, feet on the floor. And then just try to align the spine again. And then nice and slowly taking those knees over towards that left side. Just nice and slowly. Don't worry if the knees don't touch down. Just go as far as you can. Remember to get a more intense stretch, you're going to take the knees higher towards the chest. To make it less intense, take your feet further away. So your feet going more to the end of the mat. And when you're ready, lifting and turning the head towards the right. And we tend to lift and turn the head rather than turn it, because the lifting will just allow you to align the spine, the neck and the spine essentially, rather than just turning it. It does tend to go at a slightly different angle. And again, just focusing in on that breath. So nice deep inhale. And maybe a nice big exhale out. Just feeling the right shoulder sinking down. On every exhale, just feeling more and more relaxed. Just feeling the benefit of the stretch. Feeling the openness across the chest, which is going to help to improve our posture. Just helps with the shoulders, releasing any tension, any tightness. And then nice and slowly, just lifting and turning the head back to center. And nice and slowly, just bringing the feet back onto the mat. And if you can, just release the hands towards the knees and then pull the knees in towards the chest. Just pull the knees in a little higher, maybe lift the hips up and just work into that lower back. Maybe having a little rock from side to side, just easing out, stretching out that lower back. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into a well-deserved Shavasana, which is our relaxation. It is classed as a posture, but we're just going to completely relax into it. So you're welcome to grab a jumper or a blanket. You might even want to put something over your eyes just to help make it a little darker maybe. And then I'll talk you through a nice relaxation here. Now we're just going to have a little bit of quiet time, just absorb all that hard work, that energy. Release the breath as well. So a few things you can do to help with your relaxation is if you take your feet as wide as your mat and just let the feet flop out to the side, it will keep your hips a little more open. It should help you to release your pelvis slightly. If you are arching in the lower back, you can always tuck your tailbone slightly and then try to relax down into it. And then take the hands a little further away from the hips with the palms facing upwards. And that'll just allow the shoulders to sink down easier. It will keep the chest nice and open. And you can always tuck the chin slightly as well. This will just help to keep the neck nice and long. Closing the eyes. And just taking a nice big deep breath in when you're ready. Big sigh out. Good, one more, nice big inhale. Big exhale. And just releasing the breath. No need to focus in anymore. Just allowing the breath to just go back to its natural rhythm. Just feeling your entire body relaxing. Just feeling every part of the body that's sinking down into the floor. Maybe it feels a little heavier as you relax more. And just scanning down through the body with your mind. Just noticing how every part of the body feels. Now feeling your feet relax, your ankles, your calves, your knees and your thighs. And just feeling your hips sinking down into the earth. Relaxing your lower back, your upper back, your arms, your wrists, your elbows, and feeling your shoulders just sinking down deeper into the earth. So observing your thoughts and letting them pass. And just staying where you are, just taking a nice big deep breath in. Big sigh out through the mouth. And just starting to maybe feel some movement into the body. Maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes. Maybe just feeling a nice big stretch up and over. So you can maybe reach the hands up and over the top of the head. And just feeling that stretch all the way down each side of the body, all the way down to the toes. Maybe releasing the hands, maybe pulling the knees in towards the chest, just having a little hug in or a little rock from side to side. And again, just easing out that lower back, just stretching it out. And then just rolling over to the right hand side when you're ready. So you can always just pull the knees in and then just rolling over to the right hand side. Just taking a breath here. And then just slowly making your way up to seated when you're ready. Good work, well done everybody. To finish, you'll just sit up cross-legged if you can, don't worry if not. Just letting the shoulders relax down and just taking the hands to heart center to finish. Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I do teach classes 5 days a week. So if you're interested, head over to my website, which is the Good For You Yogi. Otherwise, drop me an email. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you want to give me a shout, just drop me an email and I'll be happy to help. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck if you're doing any of the talks or anything on the eco community today. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much, everyone. I shall see you all soon. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for joining.